all the lawyers, there's a chance that they are going to be physically attacked. So they pretend to have the upper hand, but they are actually a bunch of cowards. Because those who are real lawyers have said, man, this is becoming a joke now. Like, what the fuck, man? Is After Babanlaole even aware that they are doing all of this, or the old man is senile? Like, is it that stupid that is letting them use his name to do all of this? Or are these guys truly lawyers? Are they real lawyers? Because no man, it don't make any sense anymore. Do you get that now? So it's like somebody suing you for a defamation, for example, okay? And they've taken you to court in front of a judge, and you're about to kind of put up a defense and fight that, and the same person just feel like, no, I'm going to go to Abuja again, sue you in Lagos, and then they say, I'm going to go to Abuja and sue you again for the same offense, for the same case. And then you're going to be like, okay, I'm going to go to Zamfara to sue you again. What do you think the judiciary would have done in that case? What do you think they would have probably called your lawyers and be like, what is this? What is all this nonsense? Yeah? And that in itself is enough for all of them to throw your case out. But those who have abused the judicial system in Nigeria for years, those who feel so slighted, and they have become so stupid enough that they do not really care. For them, they need to entertain all the morons that are listening to them, because they want to feel they want to feel, what is that? They want to feel like influential, powerful, sort of. And I think that's why they are making more mistakes. Or maybe it's not a mistake, it's just to further expose what a lot of you what you didn't know until now. How could lawyers, who are supposed to be sons themselves, be making mockery of your judiciary like this? And you think it is a game? No, it is not. It is the rest of the world is watching, and the record is being kind of like, it's being recorded as we speak. Like, they are so scared of him that they do not even believe that any single court will be able to do what they want to do. People who are defending Dele Farotimi are pretty much not even like collecting money. You know what this is going to become later? It will now give Dele Farotimi the never seen before influence, in which they can hold him for as long as they want to, but it won't be like forever. So at the end of the day, Dele Farotimi will probably have to, when he speaks, do you know the millions of people that will listen? Do you know the millions of people that are currently following this stuff? Here is another person who says he is already planning to write his own memo. His name is Biodun Tubiyele or Tubiyele. I shared a post about corruption in the Nigerian judiciary, which I intend to reveal in my memo. A lawyer said that I want to destroy the judiciary and the legal profession. Why would I want to be a destroyer? I am turning 70 and 45 years at the Nigerian bar. If I cannot speak the truth now, then I have failed myself, my family, and the members of the honorable profession. Please, if you have something to say about corruption in the profession and in the judiciary, send your short contribution to me. Avoid mentioning names. You must mention your name. Join my memo WhatsApp group. Send your comment to me on WhatsApp and share this number. The corruption in Nigeria judiciary is as old as the judiciary itself. The lawyers that are currently jumping from one court to the other, issuing this threat of, we are going to give a judgment to, if you, Dele Farotimi, fail to show up, we are going to give a judgment to. They are corrupt lawyers. These are corrupt criminals, crooked lawyers, who somehow believes that Dele Farotimi's expose is never supposed to happen. They believe that, yes, we are corrupt. That is how we are all eating. That's how we are making our billions. It is not in your place to tell the world that we are corrupt. We know we are corrupt. And for you daring to actually tell the world that how corrupt we are, then we will show you how corrupt we are. Solomon Dalong is also a lawyer, by the way. The former sports minister under Buhari waded into this conversation. In his own opinion, listen.
What is your view on the Dele Farotimi case on the issue of defamation, libel against Afe Babanlaole?
I would have thought that my father, Afe Babanlaole, should have not taken this route. Because, I mean, he has exposed his legacies to public attack. And I don't see him surviving it. Because Dele is a reputable human rights activist. I mean, his profile is highly revered by most Nigerians. So they will never understand him with all his claim for defamation, for this, for that. If I were to advise him, I would have just called Dele and said, look, my son, and this is not the way to go. You will also get to where I am today. Despite what you would have known about me, I mean, this wasn't the better way. And that was how I was mentored by Chief Lab. But you see, he had condescended into the arena. And it is him now and his family versus Nigerians. And I don't see him ending up.
What is your view on the Dele Farotimi?
Hello? That is it. It is no longer about Dele and Afe Babanlaole. No. It is now Afe Babanlaole and the rest of Nigerians and the world. Whatever legacy he thought he had, now to millions of people, that is a trash. That's a legacy of corruption. And that's how we are going to drag him until he dies, until his death is announced. When he dies, you will see social media will celebrate his death in a way that in the worst mockery way, you will see it. Because now everybody knows his role, his contribution into the destruction of Nigeria through the judiciary. Now we know. Now we know that Dele Farotimi is only sharing a tiny bit of the Afe Babanlaole's crooked life, and then the life he lived or legacies we think he has. A lot of us now know better. Not that we didn't know before now, we did know. It's just that we never had concrete evidence, documented evidence like this. Now we do. Now that Afe Babanlaole is now proving what is in that book, everything that Dele Farotimi said he did, now we believe he did it. We are watching all of his minions, all these crooked lawyers in a lawless country like Nigeria, who are helping to put further nails on his coffin. Yes, whatever legacy he thinks he has. It is like that of Tifnubu. Till Tifnubu dies, his legacy of being a drug dealer, a certificate forger, election rigger, treasury looter, and a demented criminal will never, ever be erased. Thanks to social media. Whatever it is that Afe Babanlaole and his family believe that they had, whenever he dies, you will see it now. At least he's not going to live for another 5 years. That one I can tell you. He's already 95. Add another 5 years. Maybe he will turn to 100. After that, he will die soon. And when he dies, you watch social media. Everywhere now, if you put up Afe Babanlaole's picture anywhere online, go and read the comment under it. That is why all these criminal lawyers, I don't know what they intend to achieve. Okay? But here is something. The moment Dele Farotimi opens his mouth, all this nonsense, all these shenanigans, I can assure you, will die natural death. And that is why they would want him to be kept incommunicado. You can't keep him there forever. No, you can't. 13 days. Oh, okay. Every day that Dele Farotimi is locked up is a day that continues to validate his heroism. Is a day that gives more and more people the curiosity about how did Nigeria get to this stage and who are these people doing all of this every day. So you can go from all the courts all over Nigeria, Oludaramola and people like yourself, Olaparo, Kehinde, Ogun, and that other lunatic from Ibadan. You can go from one court to another. You are proving Dele Farotimi right. And right now, you are the guilty ones. Don't you think they are the guilty ones? Dele Farotimi was supposed to look guilty, right? For writing a book. But look at those who are the guilty ones now. Dele Farotimi sued Babanlaole for libel. They used the same corrupt judiciary to ensure that that case was never heard. So now you are suing him for libel, but you can't even face him. You can't confront him. You cannot face him in court. You have the police locked him up somewhere, denying him bail, so that you can be jumping from one court to the other. You are the guilty ones, not Dele. And to the Ronukus, the Ronu Nazis, the bastards, the bad idiots, your chain, you see this, your slavery chain, the chain there's a chance that you will never be free. You will never be free. But there's also a chance that the younger generation who are going to be liberated by the truth that they have kept away from some of you, that younger generation will never, ever take on this your slavery chains. Because, as we all know, they say you will know the truth, and the truth shall set you free. They are destroying Nigeria, but they do not want people to challenge them, expose them, and therefore they can use all of the trick in the book to get you locked up as much as possible. But for how long? For how long? Let's go to something else. From the point of view, I mean, was it yesterday? Yeah, it was yesterday that this Solomon Lalong, not Dalong, I think it's Dalong. I always mix them up. There's one called Lalong, which was the former governor of Plateau State. This one is Dalong. They are from the same place. He is the former minister of, I think he was a minister of sports under Buhari the first time, and the second time he was removed. He said something yesterday about the cabals. Like, the cabals were real, and somehow they have a way of holding this guy said hostage. Like, according to him, they held Buhari hostage for 8 solid years. But imagine this. So, I mean, on the one hand, right, you do not have to actually believe him, okay? But somehow, I want to kind of like believe him too, without exonerating Buhari the murderer. You know, sometimes you'll be asking yourselves and say, do these guys actually know what people are going through in Nigeria? Like, did Buhari know what you are going through in Nigeria around that time? Or it was being fed with lies, misleading information, so that those of you or those of us kind of like complaining or exposing them were seen as bad belly or something, right? But they were hiding something from them to make them feel like they are doing well. Tinubu believes that he is doing well. Yeah, believes. They are saying that he's laying foundation, even though he said, I know you are hungry. I know you are hungry. And all of that nonsense. But the thing is that, I'm going to replay the clip, okay? Then I'll come back and talk about it. Listen to this.
I am completely disappointed because, I mean, what we told Nigerians was not what had happened in 2015.
So it was a lie.
We lied. We should admit we lied.
To Nigerians.
To Nigerians.
You deceived Nigerians.
We deceived. Even though we use people deceive people, the PDP, for campaign, but of course we were a replica of what we were accusing the PDP of.
Or even worse.
Worse. Not even. Eliminate the word worse.
But Buhari was a catch, isn't it? People wanted the exit of PDP, thinking that Buhari was the Messiah at the time. But now there are those who will say Buhari was a disaster. Those who do not see that Buhari did anything good in that 8 years will think that Buhari wasn't the best for Nigeria at the time. What happened?
Buhari was also used and done.
Who used him?
Buhari's charisma was needed at that point in time by the political elite to eliminate Jonathan. And shortly after Buhari had taken over power, these sets of political elites emerged and hijacked government. And Buhari was a stranger. I can say this at any point in time. Buhari was a stranger in his own government. And I can corroborate this because I went to see the president in 2020 when I was out of office. And I told him, Mr. President, this wasn't what we told Nigerians. And that I have conscience. We campaigned and convinced Nigerians. When I look at the type of investment the common people put in our government, and here we are today with insecurity. When we came in, it was only the Northeast. As at 2020, I told him, it was not possible to even travel from Abuja to Kaduna. And I dared him. I said, Mr. President, if you disbelieve what I'm saying, or what I was saying, please, roll out brigade of gas now, and I join you. We drive from Abuja to Daura, and I promise him that if bandits do not attack him, I will go and die in exile. I briefed him about the security situation, about the hardship, and to be very fair to the president, he expressed surprise, meaning from my own judgment, some of the things I said were things he was hearing them for the first time. But I'm not surprised that such has happened. Because even when we were in government, it has happened. It was me who, even at the Federal Executive Council meeting, that informed him when a DSS and EFCC were trigger drawn in Asokoro here for 3 days. They held the entire environment hostage, and the president didn't know. It was everywhere on the press, print media.
But the president, the Buhari that we saw is usually with newspapers. We saw him reading the newspapers. Maybe they gave him a different newspaper.
Well, those who had such knowledge had actually claimed that his newspapers are different. But from this particular incident where the president was in Nigeria for 3 good days, and we went to the Federal Executive Council meeting, and I was expecting the issue to have been on the agenda, the first thing we will look at. And until we finished our meeting, it was not there. I had to introduce it through AOB. And the president was completely in confusion, listening to what I was saying. And at the end of the day, we even left without any closing prayer because he was visibly angry. And when he left, on my way to my office, I saw those 2 agencies under his office, directly under his office, holding a complete community hostage for 3 days because of whatever their interests they had, and the president didn't know. There was no security to his table. The National Security Advisor could not inform him. The so-called courtiers and veranda boys, none of them, thought it wise to save his image and integrity to inform him.
So there was an overtaking of the Buhari government under his watch. For
me, Buhari's hurricane, Buhari's integrity was needed. It was a political bite needed to eliminate Jonathan and his government. And immediately that was achieved. You could see why
when I saw that video, when I saw that interview, I was like, oh no, is it possible? Because I have had the conviction that these guys are mostly prisoners of their own self as well. Enough that, is it really possible? Then something told me that no. It's difficult for me to accept that, because there is no way I'm going to accept that without me then somehow exonerating Buhari. Here is my point. Buhari granted interview. Few of his interviews, which I personally, or majority of us possibly also saw, one of them was when he kidnapped Nnamdi Kanu in December 2015. When he was being interviewed a year or so after, sometimes in 2016, Buhari said that Nnamdi Kanu was planning to break up Nigeria by bringing in broadcasting equipment for Biafra radio. And he will never let that happen. Then the second time that Buhari also granted an interview, then it was after the 2019 charade, when he called eastern part of Nigeria dot in a circle. It was very, very specific. It was angry, visibly angry. In fact, it was actually like 3 videos. The first one, then the second one was when he said the Igbos are dotting a circle. And if the parent of these Biafrans did not tell them what happened, Buhari will speak to them in the language they will understand, because they are just dotting a circle. And dotting a circle means you can clean it up, which means you can wipe off the entire Igbo race in Nigeria. He was very much aware. He's aware. The militarization, the murder, the killings of the people in Igbo land, he was aware. That, the idea of them kind of giving him a different newspaper, even though it's like saying they will give Tifnubu Punch newspaper, but everything printed inside the Punch newspaper is not actually what is obtainable around that time. Here you get, it's like me holding a newspaper, today's newspaper, but the content of that newspaper is doctored. Is doctored by some certain people in his government, while the original copy of the newspaper that all of you have around the country is different from what Buhari was holding. So it is a little bit dodgy for me to accept, and not coming, especially coming from this guy who is also pretty much like a failed minister himself. How many of you remember him when he used to dress like this clown? He was supposed to be a sport minister, but almost. So when he said he spoke to Buhari, and Buhari was so surprised about what he was saying, because I remember he was dropped. Yeah, they dropped him during the Buhari second term. He was dropped, and that pained him so much. So he's talking about the cabal.